All right, so get this. We're going deep on Udon Thani, like house hunting deep.
Oh, nice.
You're thinking about renting there in 2025, huh? Exciting times.
Yeah.
You sent us this awesome guide. It's like the Udon Thani rental Bible. And, well, we're going to break it all down, help you find the perfect spot. Consider us your Udon Thani rental gurus.
What's cool is Udon Thani's rental scene isn't just one thing. You've got these traditional Thai houses on stilts. Picture this, sipping tea on your veranda.
Oh, stop it.
And then, bam, sleek modern apartments or even like luxurious villas with private pools.
You're killing me.
No.
All right, let's get into this guide. It says the rental market is booming. Why is everyone suddenly so into Udon Thani?
It's a bunch of things, It's pulling in both locals and expats.
Okay, yeah.
So on one side, you've got Thailand's economy growing. People want to live outside Bangkok. And then expats, they've heard about Udon Thani's chill vibe and how affordable it is.
So it's like this hidden gem that's finally getting noticed.
Exactly. And with all this attention, prices are being affected,
Ah, makes sense. The guide says they're going up, but still way more affordable than Bangkok. It's like finding that vintage treasure, still a bargain, even if the price has gone up a bit.
Love that analogy. All right, let's get down to it. What impacts rental prices the most in Udon Thani?
Well, location, right?
Always.
The closer to the center or like hot spots like Central Plaza Udon Thani, the higher the rent. It's all about convenience and the type of place.
Yeah.
Modern condos, all the fancy stuff, gyms, pools, those are going to be pricier than those cute Thai houses.
Yeah, but those traditional houses, the natural materials, the stilts, are there downsides to all that charm?
There can be, yeah. They're often cheaper, but might be missing some modern stuff.
Yeah.
And upkeep, it can be a bit more hands-on. It's really what's important to you. Rustic charm or that easy modern life.
True. So even in a place like Udon Thani, which is known for being affordable, you still got to be strategic about location, what kind of place you are. Absolutely. That's why the guide breaks down neighborhoods. Nong Bua, Mak Khang, and Ban Luiem. Each one has its own vibe. It's about finding your match.
Okay, neighborhood time. Give us the lowdown on these three.
All right, Nong Bua. That's your peaceful spot, think local, quiet streets. Maybe not the most exciting, but perfect if you want a slower pace.
I'm feeling zen already. What about Makang?
It's a mix, modern stuff next to traditional homes, cafes, shops. A bit more energy than Nong Bua, but still pretty chill.
So, a good blend. And lastly, Ban Luiem.
That's the suburban feel. Further out, so you trade a quick commute for more space, more peace, families, quiet streets, but a bit of a drive to the action.
So even in Udon Thani, you have these different choices. Tranquil escape, blend of old and new, or suburban life.
Yeah, but the guide doesn't just name them. It goes deeper into what to look for inside each neighborhood.
Let's get tactical then. What are the make or break things when choosing a spot within a neighborhood?
Think practical stuff first, like how close are things you need? Hospitals, schools, markets. Living by Central Plaza Udon Thani would be super convenient for shopping and food.
Yeah, convenience is key.
Yeah.
I'm also big on feeling safe in my neighborhood. What does the guide say about that?
It suggests checking for active community watch programs or maybe even a gated community if you want that extra security.
Yeah, that makes sense. And when you're actually checking out a potential rental, what are some signs that, a neighborhood is safe and taken care of?
Pay attention to the small things. Good street lighting, properties that are well maintained. If a place feels run down, it might not be the best choice.
True. I love walking and biking, so for me, easy public transport is a must. What's the situation in Udon Thani?
Pretty good, actually. Being near the main bus station or the train station opens up your options. And they even have bike paths, pedestrian-friendly streets. So yeah, you can get around on two wheels or even on foot.
Awesome. All right, we've talked trends, prices, picking the right neighborhood. But what about the actual houses? Let's dive into the types of rentals you can find.
Now this is where it gets fun. Traditional Thai houses, modern apartments, and luxury villas, something for every taste and budget.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's start with those traditional Thai houses.
Yeah.
What's the appeal, besides, the obvious charm?
Think about those unique features built on stilts for ventilation. Helps with flooding, too, during the rainy season.
Smart.
And the materials, wood, bamboo, create this cool, rustic feel.
Okay, I'm picturing myself on that veranda, surrounded by nature, sipping Thai iced tea. But what if I want something more, modern? What are the apartments and condos like?
Sleek designs, new fixtures, and often those extra perks like gyms, pools. It's all about convenience, that lock and leave lifestyle. Plus, security features, 247 guards, controlled access, peace of mind.
So you trade some of that traditional charm for modern comforts and maybe a bit more security. What about those luxury villas? Are we talking full-on resort living?
Pretty much. Spacious places, multiple bedrooms, private gardens, high-end stuff, private pools, maybe even a home theater. The guide mentions a 4-bedroom villa in Leanne going for a cool THB 250,000 per month.
Wow. Okay. That's definitely for the high rollers.
Yeah.
So rustic charm, modern convenience, or all-out luxury, Udon Thani seems to have it all.
It does. And each type has its own things to consider. Traditional houses might need more maintenance. Condos often have monthly fees. It's all about weighing those against your budget and how you want to live.
This is super helpful. But before we get all HGTV and start decorating our dream Udon Thani homes, we got to talk about the less glamorous but essential part, rental agreements.
And that's where the guide really shines. It's all about knowing those key terms and conditions before you sign anything. Think of it like a treasure map. You need to know the route before setting sail. Rent amount, of course, but also the security deposit, how long the lease is, and what happens if you need to break it early.
It's all about protecting yourself, making sure everything is clear from the start.
Exactly. Don't forget to check if things like water and electricity are included, or if you pay those separately, can make a big difference in your monthly costs.
Good point. So, are there specific tenant rights in Udon Thani? What if something breaks or there's an issue with the property?
The guide makes it clear tenants have rights. You have the right to a safe and livable place, and the landlord is responsible for major repairs. But documentation is key. If something goes wrong, talk to your landlord in writing. Keep records of everything.
So clear communication and knowing your rights are essential.
Absolutely. And if things get complicated, legally speaking, the guide suggests talking to an expat law firm in Thailand. They can help you navigate the rental process, make sure you're protected.
That's great advice. Okay, let's talk money. Everyone wants to know about the cost of living in Udon Thani. What kind of budget should we be thinking about for rent in 2025?
The guide actually gives average rental cost, which is super helpful. Keep in mind, these are just averages. Prices can change depending on location, amenities, all those things we talked about.
Okay, give us the ballpark figures.
For a traditional Thai house, you're looking at around THB 5,000 to 8,000 per month.
Not bad at all. What about a modern apartment or condo?
A bit more, THB 8,000 to 12,000 per month. And for those luxury villas and estates, you're looking at PHB 12,000 to 15,000 per month.
All right, so a pretty wide range depending on your style and budget. But rent isn't the only cost. What about utilities, those monthly expenses?
Right. Don't forget those. Electricity, water, internet, they can add another THB 1,500 to 3,000 to your monthly expenses.
Yeah, they add up. And if you're in a condo, there might be monthly maintenance fees on top of that, right?
Exactly. Those can be anywhere from THB 500 to 1,500 per month. Depends on the building and what's included. And don't forget the security deposit, usually 2 months' rent.
Okay, so factor all that in. Any tips for saving money on rent in Udon Thani? I'm all about stretching that budget.
There are. Think long term. Landlords often give lower monthly rates if you sign a longer lease.
Makes sense. A guaranteed tenant is a good thing for them. Any other strategies?
Location, location, location. Going a bit outside the city center can save you money without giving up too much convenience. Maybe a slightly longer commute, but more space and lower rent. It might be worth it. And if you're up for sharing, splitting costs with roommates can really help.
That's a classic for a reason.
Exactly. And the guide even suggests comparing costs with Laos, just to see how Udon Thani stacks up in terms of overall affordability.
That's an interesting idea. It gives you a bigger picture of the region.
Yeah. Now, I know we've been talking a lot about, the logistics of renting, but Udon Thani is so much more than just finding a roof over your head. It's about really experiencing a new culture, finding hidden gems, a way of life that's both, enriching and fulfilling.
Right. It's not just finding a house, it's finding a home. And Udon Thani sounds like it has so much to offer beyond just the bricks and mortar.
Exactly. It's those intangible things, that sense of community, the culture, the nature. That's what makes a place special.
I'm getting inspired just thinking about it. So what makes Udon Thani's cultural and recreational scene so unique? What's there to do besides just living there?
Udon Thani's got this, vibrant energy. It blends tradition and modern life so well. It's like stepping back in time, but with all the conveniences you'd expect.
That sounds incredible. But I gotta admit, when I think about moving somewhere new, safety's always on my mind. Feeling secure, especially if you're gonna settle down there.
Yeah, I get it. And it's important to talk about the elephant in the room.
Right.
Like any city, Udon Thani has its safety things, and it's good to be in the know.
Okay, so let's be real. What are some of the specific concerns that have come up?
Well, there's been talk about petty theft, especially in crowded places like markets or tourist spots.
Yeah,
It's the kind of thing you'd be aware of in any busy city, honestly.
that makes sense. Being street smart, keeping your valuables close, not slashing cash around.
Exactly. Common sense goes a long way. And there have been some discussions about scams targeting tourists, inflated prices for transport or souvenirs.
That's a bummer, but it happens everywhere, unfortunately.
Hmm.
Any tips for avoiding those situations?
Do your homework, know what things should cost, and don't be afraid to haggle or just walk away if a deal seems shady.
Good advice. Anything else we should be aware of?
There's been some talk about traffic safety, especially for people who aren't used to driving in Thailand. The roads can be a bit, well, chaotic, especially downtown.
Yeah, the motorbike traffic in Thailand is legendary. I can see how that could be a bit much at first.
Definitely. So if you're planning on driving in Udon Thani, be super careful, learn the local traffic rules, maybe even practice driving in a quieter area before you hit those busy streets.
Smart move.
Right.
And what about walking and cycling? We talked about how Udon Thani is walkable and bikeable, but are there any safety concerns there?
Generally safe, but like anywhere, it's good to be cautious, especially at night. Stay in well-lit areas, be aware of your surroundings.
Basically, common sense precautions apply just like anywhere else.
Exactly. It's about being proactive, not letting fear control your experience.
Right. Finding that balance between being aware of potential risks, but not letting them overshadow all the amazing things a new place has to offer.
Absolutely. And to be fair, a lot of the safety conversations emphasize personal responsibility. It's about being prepared, taking reasonable precautions, and not making yourself an easy target.
So it's not about living in fear, it's about being informed and empowered.
Exactly. And remember, safety is often subjective. What one person might think is a big deal, someone else might see as just part of life in a city.
That's a really good point. It's all about perspective.
Right. And it's important to, approach these conversations with sensitivity and respect for different viewpoints.
Definitely. Now let's switch gears and talk about what makes Udon Thani feel safe and welcoming. The guide mentions a strong sense of community, right?
It does, and that's huge for feeling secure. That idea of neighbors looking out for each other creates a more supportive environment.
I love that. It's like that saying, it takes a village.
Exactly.
Right.
And beyond that community spirit, there are also more, formal safety measures in place.
Like what?
Well, some neighborhoods have community watch programs where residents actively work together to prevent crime. That's a great way to build security and camaraderie.
I love that. It's proactive and make people feel responsible for the whole neighborhood's well-being.
Exactly. And you'll also find security personnel in a lot of public areas like malls and parks, which can add that extra layer of safety.
It's reassuring to know those measures are in place.
Absolutely. And many residential areas, especially newer developments, have gated communities or security systems, which offer a more controlled environment.
Okay, so there's a mix of community efforts and more official security measures. But in the end, a lot of it comes down to personal awareness, right?
Absolutely. Being aware of your surroundings, trusting your gut, taking those basic precautions we talked about, those things make a big difference.
So finding that sweet spot between being cautious, but still being open to new experiences.
Exactly. Don't let worries about safety stop you from exploring and enjoying everything Udon Thani has to offer.
Well said. Now let's move on to something that's sure to get our taste buds tingling, the food scene in Udon Thani. I'm always excited to experience a new place through its food.
Oh, you're in for a treat. Udon Thani is in the Isan region, which is famous for its bold, spicy flavors.
Bring on the heat. I'm all for trying authentic local dishes.
Then you have to try samtum, the classic spicy papaya salad. The Asian version is known for its, intense flavors.
I've heard of somtum, but what makes the Asian version so special?
The ingredients. They use fermented fish sauce, gives it this incredible depth. And be warned, they don't skimp on the chilies.
My mouth's watering already. What else is a must-try?
Larb, another Eisen staple. It's a minced meat salad with lime juice, fish sauce, chilies, and toasted rice powder. It's a flavor explosion.
Okay, somtum and larb are going straight to the top of my list. Where's the best place to try those authentic dishes?
The local markets. That's where you'll find the real deal, those street food vendors who've been perfecting these recipes for generations.
I love that. There's something so special about experiencing a culture's food in its most authentic form. What about something more adventurous? Are there any dishes that might be, a little outside the comfort zone for some people?
If you're feeling brave, try gai yang, grilled chicken marinated in herbs and spices, usually served with sticky rice and a fiery dipping sauce.
I'm always up for trying new things, even if they're a little intimidating. But let's be real. Not everyone's a spice fanatic. What about milder options?
Don't worry, there's something for everyone. Cow pad, stir-fried rice with your choice of meat and veggies. It's a classic that always hits the spot. And you can't go wrong with pad thai, those delicious stir-fried noodles.
Okay, those are definitely crowd pleasers. What about dessert? I have a major sweet tooth.
Oh, you have to try mango sticky rice. It's this heavenly combo of sweet sticky rice, fresh mango slices, and creamy coconut milk. The perfect ending to a meal.
Okay, I'm officially adding Udon Thani to my foodie bucket list. It sounds like a culinary adventure.
It is. And beyond the specific dishes, it's the atmosphere that makes dining in Udon Thani so special. Whether you're at a street food stall or a fancy restaurant, there's this sense of community, of shared enjoyment. You don't always find that.
It's about more than just the food. It's the experience, the connection.
Exactly. It's about slowing down, really tasting the flavors, enjoying the company of friends and family. It's about embracing the Thai way of life.
Beautifully said. Now let's move on to something that's essential for understanding the heart and soul of Udon Thani, its rich culture and history.
Udon Thani is a city steeped in tradition, and the guide does a fantastic job of highlighting the must-see cultural attractions.
All right, let's take a cultural tour. Where should we start?
No trip to Udon Thani would be complete without experiencing the beauty and tranquility of its temples.
Temples are such an integral part of Thai culture and architecture. What are some of the standouts in Udon Thani?
Wat Phot Thi Sonphan is a must-see. It's this stunning temple complex known for its intricate carvings and golden Buddha statues. You can really immerse yourself in the serenity of Thai Buddhism there.
I can almost smell the incense and hear the chanting monks. It sounds so peaceful.
It is. It's like stepping into another world where you can escape the noise and find a moment of quiet reflection.
What other temples should we add to our list?
Wat Pa Phu Khan is another gem. It's a forest temple located in the mountains outside Udon Thani.
A forest temple? That sounds magical. What makes it so special?
It's famous for its striking white chedi, which houses a relic of the Buddha, and the atmosphere is incredibly serene. It's a popular spot for meditation and spiritual retreats.
I can see why. It sounds like the perfect place to connect with nature and find some inner peace.
It is. It reminds you that sometimes the most profound experiences come from slowing down and appreciating the simple things.
Okay, temples are definitely a must-do. What about other cultural attractions? What else should we experience in Udon Thani?
Well, we can't forget about the Ban Chang archaeological site. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site known for its ancient pottery and artifacts.
Right, we talked about that earlier. It's amazing to think about all the history that's buried there.
It is. It's like stepping back in time and witnessing a civilization that thrived thousands of years ago.
It gives you a whole new perspective on time and humanity.
Exactly. It's a reminder that we're all part of something much bigger than ourselves.
Okay, we've got temples, history, and a UNESCO site. What about something a little more lighthearted? What does Udon Thani have to offer in terms of entertainment and nightlife?
Udon Thani's got a pretty lively nightlife scene. There's a good mix of bars, clubs, and live music venues, something for every taste.
All right, party people. Where should we head for a night out in Udon Thani?
The UD Town area is a popular spot, especially with expats. It's got a fun, energetic vibe, lots of bars and restaurants to choose from.
Sounds like a good place to meet people and soak up the city's energy.
Exactly. And if you're looking for something more relaxing, there are traditional Thai massage parlors all over the city.
Oh, I love a good Thai massage. It's the perfect way to unwind after a long day of exploring.
It is. It's therapeutic and incredibly relaxing. It's a must-do experience in Thailand.
Okay, so we've got temples for serenity, bustling nightlife for excitement, and Thai massages for relaxation. It sounds like Udon Thani has something for everyone.
It does, and I think that's one of its greatest strengths. It offers this incredible balance of experiences so you can create a lifestyle that really suits you.
I love that. It's about having options and choosing how you want to spend your time.
Exactly. And that's what makes Udon Thani so appealing. It's a city where you can be yourself, explore your interests, and live life on your own terms.
Well said. Now let's talk about something that's sure to capture the imagination of our nature-loving listeners. The natural wonders that surround Udon Thani. I'm all about exploring beyond the city limits and discovering hidden gems.
You're in luck. Udon Thani is a gateway to some truly breathtaking natural beauty.
All right, nature enthusiasts, listen up. What are some of the must-see spots in and around Udon Thani?
Well, we've talked about the Red Lotus Sea, but it's worth mentioning again. It's a sight that you have to see to believe. Thousands of pink lotus blossoms stretching as far as the eye can see. It's like something out of a dream.
It sounds absolutely magical. When is the best time to see the lotus flowers in full bloom?
They usually bloom from December to February, so if you're visiting during those months, definitely put it on your itinerary.
Noted. What other natural wonders await us?
If you're up for a challenge and love amazing views, Phu Kradoong National Park is calling your name.
Okay, hiking enthusiasts. Tell us about Phu Kradoong.
It's a mountain plateau, known for its diverse plants and animals, cascading waterfalls, and its challenging but rewarding hiking trails.
It sounds like the perfect escape for nature lovers and adventure seekers.
It is. You might spot deer, monkeys, wild boars, and all sorts of birds. It's a real wilderness experience.
I can already picture myself hiking through those lush forests, breathing in the fresh mountain air.
It's an experience that will reconnect you with nature and leave you feeling refreshed and invigorated.
What about something a little more low-key? Any places where we can enjoy nature without having to climb a mountain?
Nong Project Public Park is a great option. It's right in the city, perfect for leisurely walks, jogs, or just relaxing by the lake.
We talked about that earlier. It sounds like a great place to escape the city heat and enjoy some peace and quiet.
It is, and it's a great place to observe the local way of life. You'll see people practicing Tai Chi, having picnics, or just chatting with friends and family.
I love those glimpses into everyday life in a new place. It's all about those little moments that make a place feel real and lived in.
Exactly. It's about experiencing a place through the eyes of its people and embracing those simple joys.
Beautifully said. And speaking of embracing, let's talk about something that's deeply connected to the natural beauty of Udon Thani. Its commitment to sustainability.
That's a great point. Udon Thani is increasingly embracing eco-friendly practices, especially when it comes to its natural surroundings.
I love to hear that. It's so important for cities to prioritize sustainability, especially in places with such incredible natural beauty. What kind of initiatives are they focusing on?
There's a growing awareness of the need to protect Udon Thani's environment and biodiversity. There are programs to reduce plastic waste and promote recycling, which is crucial for protecting the waterways and ecosystems.
That's a great start. Plastic pollution is a global problem, and it's inspiring to see cities like Udon Thani taking action.
Right. And they're also promoting responsible tourism practices. They want visitors to minimize their environmental impact and respect local customs. It's about creating a more sustainable and enjoyable experience for everyone.
I love that approach. It's not about shutting people out. It's about educating them and empowering them to be mindful travelers.
Exactly. And it goes beyond tourism. There are initiatives to support local communities and promote sustainable livelihoods, things like encouraging eco-friendly farming and supporting local artisans.
That's so important. It's about creating a more sustainable future for everyone, not just tourists. It's about ensuring that economic development goes hand in hand with environmental protection.
Absolutely. And I think that's what's so impressive about Udon Thani's approach to sustainability. It's not just about top-down policies, it's about community engagement and empowering individuals to be a part of the solution.
It's about creating a culture of sustainability where everyone feels a sense of ownership and responsibility for the well-being of their environment.
Exactly. It's inspiring to see a city embrace sustainability in such a holistic and inclusive way.
I agree. It's a reminder that we can all make a difference no matter where we live. Now let's talk about the people who call Udon Thani home. We've talked about the city's charm, but what about the people who bring that charm to life?
Well, the guide describes the people of Udon Thani as warm, welcoming, and incredibly hospitable.
I've heard that Thai people are known for their kindness and gentle nature.
That's definitely true. Thai culture places a high value on kindness, respect, and harmony, and that really shows in how people interact with each other.
It's that sense of community and interconnectedness that we've been talking about. It makes a place feel so much more welcoming and inviting.
Absolutely. And the guide emphasizes that the people of Udon Thani are proud of their heritage and traditions. They're happy to share their culture with visitors.
That's what makes traveling so special, those opportunities to connect with different cultures and learn from each other.
Exactly. It's about bridging cultural divides and creating those human connections that make the world a richer and more vibrant place.
Beautifully said. What else does the guide say about the people of Udon Thani?
It mentions that they have a strong work ethic and an entrepreneurial spirit. Udon Thani is a city that's both rooted in tradition and looking toward the future.
That's a great combination. It's about honoring the past while also embracing progress and innovation.
Exactly. And the guide also highlights that the people of Udon Thani have a great sense of humor and are always up for a good time.
That's always a plus. Laughter is the best medicine, they say.
It is. And it's a reminder that life is meant to be enjoyed. The people of Udon Thani seem to understand that innately.
It's about finding joy in the simple things, connecting with people, and appreciating the beauty of life.
Exactly. And I think that's a beautiful way to summarize the spirit of Udon Thani. It's a city that embraces life in all its fullness, with a warmth and generosity that's truly infectious.
I'm already feeling drawn to this place and its people.
I think you'd love it. It's a city that gets under your skin and stays with you long after you've left.
Okay, we've covered so much about Udon Thani. Safety, food, culture, nature, and even the wonderful people who call it home. But there's one more layer we need to explore, the practicalities of actually living there long term.
You're right. It's one thing to visit a place, but it's a whole other ball game to actually make it your home.
Exactly. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty of daily life in Udon Thani. Right, so we've tackled finding the perfect rental, exploring the amazing culture and nature around Udon Thani, and even talked about those safety concerns. But now let's dive into what it's really like to live there every day, the practical things that can make or break your experience.
Totally. It's one thing to just visit, but making a place your home, that's a whole other story. So let's get into those everyday essentials that make expat life in Udon Thani run smoothly.
Perfect. First up, communication. We touched on learning some Thai, which is always a plus, but realistically, how much can you get by with just English in Udon Thani?
Well, Udon Thani's got a decent-sized expat community, so you'll find English spoken in a lot of tourist areas, restaurants, shops. It's definitely enough to get by, especially at first.
That's reassuring. Makes that initial adjustment a little less scary.
Right. But if you're going off the beaten track or interacting with locals more, knowing some Thai, even just a little, can really make a difference. It shows respect and helps you connect with people on a deeper level.
It makes sense. It's about going beyond being a tourist and really immersing yourself in the local way of life.
Speaking of essential services, what about healthcare? We mentioned hospitals and insurance, but what's the overall quality like in Udon Thani?
Udon Thani has some pretty modern hospitals and clinics, good doctors and staff. Many expats say they've had positive experiences with the healthcare there.
That's good to know. It takes a load off your mind knowing you have access to good care if you need it.
Absolutely. But like we said before, having good health insurance is a must. It gives you that extra security and peace of mind.
Agreed. Healthcare is definitely a priority. Okay, let's move on to something that's pretty much a necessity these days. Internet access. How is the internet situation in Udon Thani? Asking for a friend who might be slightly addicted to Netflix.
Well, your friend will be happy to hear that Udon Thani has pretty reliable internet. High-speed options are readily available, so streaming, working remotely, video calls, you can do it all.
That's music to my ears. It's crazy how much we rely on the internet these days, isn't it? It's true. Whether you're working from your Udon Thani home office or keeping in touch with family across the world, good internet is essential.
For sure. Okay, so we can work, stay connected, even binge watch our favorite shows.
Yeah.
But what about shopping? What's the retail therapy scene like in Udon Thani?
Udon Thani's got a great mix. You've got your modern malls like Central Plaza with all the international brands and department stores.
So you can still find those familiar things if you're feeling a little homesick.
Exactly. But for a more authentic experience, you have to check out Udon Thani's markets. Remember the UD Night Market and the Day and Night Complex we talked about?
Oh, yeah. Those sounded amazing. What kind of goodies can we find there?
Honestly, everything. Clothes, accessories, fresh produce, local crafts, street food. It's sensory overload in the best way possible.
It's an experience, not just shopping.
Exactly. Soaking up the atmosphere, haggling for a good price, finding those unique items you won't see anywhere else.
Awesome. Okay, so shopping is covered. But what about the more, mundane but essential things like banking? How easy is it for expats to manage their money in Udon Thani?
You'll find plenty of banks and ATMs all over the city, so accessing your money, managing your finances, it's pretty easy.
That's good to hear. It's one of those things you don't really think about until you're in a new place and suddenly need cash or have to pay bills.
For sure. A lot of banks even have services specifically for expats, things like multi-currency accounts or international transfers. It's worth checking those out to see what works best for you.
Great tip. Now let's talk about something that's super important for feeling settled, making friends and building a social life. How easy is it for expats to find their community in Udon Thani?
One of the things people love about Udon Thani is how welcoming the community is. Locals are generally friendly and open to interacting with expats.
That makes a world of difference. Moving to a new place can be intimidating, especially if you don't know anyone.
Absolutely. And on top of that, Udon Thani has a really active expat community. You'll find people from all over who've made it their home.
So you're not alone in figuring out expat life.
Exactly. There are tons of expat groups and social clubs that organize events, which makes it easy to meet like-minded people.
That's fantastic. It's all about finding your people, those who get what it's like to be an expat in a new place.
You got it. And don't underestimate just putting yourself out there talking to people.
True. It's those everyday interactions, whether it's at a cafe or the market, that can lead to new friendships.
Absolutely. Those chance encounters can really open up a whole new world. As we wrap up this deep dive, I keep thinking about this theme of balance that seems to define Udon Thani.
I see it too. It's this perfect blend of old and new, city life and peaceful nature, chances for adventure and moments to just relax.
It's got it all. Udon Thani offers this amazing mix of experiences. It's about finding that balance where you feel challenged, but also grounded and at peace.
It's about creating a life that feels genuine, aligned with what matters to you.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes Udon Thani so special, especially for expats looking for a more meaningful life abroad.
It's more than just checking off a list of sites or doing trendy things. It's about a whole new way of being.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And I think that's the perfect note to leave our listener on.
I agree. We've covered so much. The practical side of living in Udon Thani, the culture, the nature, the amazing people. It truly feels like a place where you can create a unique and enriching life.
It does, doesn't it? It's like this hidden gem just waiting to be discovered.
So, to our listener who's dreaming of Udon Thani, as you begin your adventure, remember to embrace the unexpected, be open to new experiences, and most importantly, trust your gut.
Great advice. It's all about approaching this journey with curiosity, wonder, and a willingness to step outside your comfort zone.
Absolutely. Udon Thani is a city that rewards those who are open to exploring, connecting, and discovering its magic.
Beautifully said. It's been a pleasure exploring Udon Thani with you.
The feeling is mutual. To our listener, happy travels, and may your Udon Thani adventure be everything you've ever dreamed of.